Well, I'll tell you this. I have no idea about their business, but if someone owed me $200 million, then I would be in court, not on X. And I guarantee you, if she ever took that to court, that would be a huge story.
Federal attention is suddenly circling Jay-Z after explosive online claims involving Nicki Minaj sent fans into a frenzy. No charges announced, no confirmations made, just whispers, legal threats, and one comment that made people stop scrolling and start connecting dots. Let's get into the juicy details. Money, loyalty, and betrayal. Before we even get into the madness that's been unfolding in 2026, we need to go back, way back, because what's happening right now between Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z didn't just appear out of thin air. This thing has roots, deep roots. And if you don't understand where this whole situation started, you're not going to fully grasp why it's gotten to the level that it's at today. So, let's start from the very beginning. See, there was a time when Nicki Minaj had nothing but love and respect for Jay-Z. She looked up to him. She admired him. She said it publicly on camera for the whole world to hear.
Now, you've also said that Jay-Z, Foxy Brown, and Lil Wayne were some of your biggest influences when you were coming up. What did each of them have that you wanted to emulate?
Jay-Z, business savvy. Foxy Brown, immaculate delivery. Lil Wayne, trendsetter.
Business savvy. That's what she saw in him. She looked at Jay-Z, and she saw a man who had figured out how to turn bars into billions, how to turn rhymes into real estate, and how to build something that would last way beyond the music. And for a long time, it seemed like Nicki wanted to walk that same path right beside him. Because when Jay-Z launched his streaming platform, Tidal, back in 2015, he didn't do it alone. He brought in a lineup of the biggest artists in the world to be partners and stakeholders with equity in the company, and Nicki Minaj was one of them. Now, here's where things start to crack. According to reports, Nicki was given roughly a 3% equity stake in the Tidal. And she didn't just take that stake and sit on it. She promoted the platform. She pushed it to her millions and millions of fans, the Barbs, harder than almost anybody on the roster. By her own account, she did more promotion for Tidal than anyone except Beyoncé herself. She put her name, her brand, and her credibility behind Jay-Z's vision. She believed in it. And then in 2021, Jay-Z sold Tidal to Jack Dorsey's Square for roughly $300 million. And according to Nicki Minaj, she got almost nothing. She says she was offered $1 million, one single million, and that was supposed to be the end of it. But Nicki wasn't having that. She has publicly stated multiple times that Jay-Z owes her somewhere between $100 and $200 million. Now, does that number add up? Well, Wakund actually sat down and did the math when he talked to DJ Vlad about this whole situation, and his breakdown was pretty eye-opening.
Remember when Jay-Z launched Tidal?
I remember.
And he brought in like 16 musical
15
partners.
people gave him 3% each.
Gave what?
3% each, 45%.
Okay, 3% each.
3%, they got 45% that he brought in. Later on, somebody else came in with like 200 million or so, and he gave them a third. It kind of diluted everybody, which we understand that. That's how your contract's written.
So she's claiming that Jay-Z, when he sold the company to Jack Dorsey, which I looked it up, it was sold for around $300 million, that she was paid $1 million, but she's really owed $200 million.
But she only had about maybe 2.5%, 3% tops.
There's 16 partners. She's not an equal partner. Jay-Z is obviously the biggest shareholder.
What's the numbers on 300 and 2.5%? I mean, shit.
300 times
10% would have been 3 million.
2.5.
Half of that 1.5.
It's about 7.5 million.
For 2.5?
2.5%. If it sold for that much, like you said, it was probably diluted.
It was diluted.
And in fact, Tidal was a losing company.
Tidal
was never successful.
Stayed in the negative.
It stayed in the negative, so it probably decreased in overall value. They had to get they had to get more money, which ultimately diluted everyone's share and so forth. It's not like you're talking about Spotify. You're not talking about Apple. You're talking about a losing company that was ping-pong to various other people. I think Sprint bought it at one point. Then I think Jack Dorsey just bought it as a favor to be cool with Jay-Z because he didn't do anything with it. Tidal's not a major platform anymore.
He didn't do anything with it.
And she's claiming that she's owed $200 million, which is it's just insane.
So when you really break down the numbers too, 5% of a $300 million sale, even before dilution, is about $7.5 million. And after dilution from additional investors coming in, that number shrinks even more. It's nowhere near $200 million. But here's the thing that people need to understand. For Nicki, this was never just about the money. It was about what the money represented. She felt used. She felt like she put everything on the line for Jay-Z's streaming platform. And when it was time to cash out, she got a pat on the back and was shown the door. And the title situation was just one piece of a much bigger picture, because Nicki has also accused Jay-Z of blocking her documentary back in 2018. A documentary where she planned to speak openly about the abuse she says she suffered while dating Meek Mill, who is signed to Jay-Z's Roc Nation. According to Nicki's camp, Jay-Z told her not to release it. And out of respect for him at the time, she listened. She held back. But then, after all of that loyalty she showed, Roc Nation signed Megan Thee Stallion, right in the middle of Megan's public beef with Nicki. Then there were moves towards Doja. Then reports of reaching out from Cardi B to Nicki and her fans. This looked like a pattern, a deliberate attempt to replace her.
Do you see what she's been doing recently?
I see she's been going at Jay-Z. Well, title.
Jay-Z, SZA,
Why is she going at SZA?
Doechii, Kendrick, Punch from TDE, everybody. Desiree from Roc Nation.
But Wack 100 raised a point that a lot of people were thinking. He looked at the sheer number of people Nicki was going after and said something that really made people stop and think.
I think the problem we have is we watch people for 10, 20, 15 years. We watch them. Vlad, if I woke up and over the next 5 days saw you rant on everybody, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say Vlad's unhappy. I'm gonna say, yo, Act, yo, Trap, yo, Adam. Hey, bro, we need to go check on Vlad. This ain't him, right? Like, we see what he's doing. This not him. So that means something's going on.
And that's really the question at the heart of all of this. Is Nicki Minaj exposing something real? Genuine corruption and manipulation at the highest levels of the music industry? Or is something else going on? Because what happened next took this whole thing to a completely different level. The Breakfast Club was covering Nicki's tweets about Jay-Z, and the host pointed out something that a lot of observers have been saying quietly.
Well, I'll tell you this, I have no idea about their business, but if someone owed me $200 million, then I would be in court, not on X. And I guarantee you, if she ever took that to court, that would be a huge story.
And that's the thing that keeps coming up in this whole beef. If the money is really owed, if the contracts really say what Nicki claims they say, then why hasn't she filed a lawsuit? No legal actions have been confirmed as of February 2026. The paperwork would tell the story. The audits would reveal the truth. But instead, this whole thing is played out on social media, which is exactly what makes it so complicated. When Nicki declared war, now if you thought the title money dispute was as far as this thing was going to go, you were dead wrong. Because in the second half of 2024 and all through 2025, Nicki Minaj didn't just keep the pressure on Jay-Z, she turned the heat all the way up. And the moment that really set the whole internet on fire was the Super Bowl. In September 2024, Roc Nation, Jay-Z's entertainment company that has a partnership with the NFL, selected Kendrick Lamar to headline the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. Now, the Super Bowl that year was being held in New Orleans. Lil Wayne City, the place where Wayne is a living legend, a god and an icon, and everyone, and I mean everyone, expected Lil Wayne to get that call. Nicki Minaj expected it. The fans expected it. By some accounts, Wayne himself may have expected it, but the call never came. Kendrick Lamar got the spot instead, and Nicki Minaj lost it. She went online and slammed Jay-Z as evil and disgusting, accusing him of deliberately blocking Wayne from the biggest stage in music. The Barbs were furious. Wayne's fans were furious. And suddenly, what had been a simmering business dispute turned into an all-out public war. The Breakfast Club covered this, too. And they read Nicki's tweets on air.
And how did Jay-Z ruin all these sports?
Oh my God. Well, she felt like Lil Wayne. She feels like Lil Wayne should have been the performer at the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
That is funny as hell. Read that one again. What you said, Jay-Z?
She did a whole list.
She said, "Dear #Jay-Z, You ruined hip hop, you
Damn.
ruined football, you
Damn.
ruined basketball, you ruined touring,
Damn.
you ruined Instagram,
Damn.
you ruined Twitter.
Damn.
The jig is up. All of this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only.
Jay-Z ruined hip-hop. Jay-Z ruined football. Jay-Z ruined basketball. Jay-Z ruined touring. Jay-Z ruined Instagram and Twitter. That's a lot of ruining for one man. And the host couldn't help but joke about the absurdity of it. But here's where the mood shifted from frustration to something much darker. By July 2025, Nicki went on X and directly accused Jay-Z of being jealous of her success and stopping bags behind the scenes, meaning she believed he was actively working to sabotage her career, influencing deals, and using his power to keep her down. She accused Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez of unethical practices. She demanded her H1 to be $200 million and said she would donate it to charity and start college funds for her fans. And then in October 2025, Nicki dropped the bomb that nobody saw coming. She announced that she was scrapping her upcoming album, the highly anticipated 6th studio album that was set for March 2026, and she was potentially retiring from music altogether. Her exact words on X were devastating. "Okay, I'm not going to put out the album anymore. No more music. Hope you're happy now, Jay-Z." That sent shockwaves through the entire music industry. The album cancellation made headlines everywhere. TMZ, Complex, Hypebeast, Rolling Stone, and The Economic Times. Nicki blamed it entirely on Jay-Z and Roc Nation, claiming they had sabotaged her projects and that she refused to release music under these conditions until her contracts were renegotiated. She even claimed that Roc Nation executives had begged her behind the scenes to tour and release new music, but she refused because the title payout was still unresolved. But then, and this is important, just weeks later in November 2025, Nicki started teasing the album again, hinting that it was packed with hit after hit. She talked about having 16 tracks ready. So, the retirement didn't seem permanent after all, but the damage was done. The narrative was set. In Nicki's telling, Jay-Z was the villain who had tried to end her career. Now, Whack 100 had a theory about all of this that a lot of people found interesting. He didn't necessarily buy the narrative that Jay-Z was some evil mastermind pulling strings behind the scenes. He thought something else might be going on.
If you're hollering and screaming on social media, I believe, I could be wrong, I believe either a album, a single, she's about to launch some merch. I believe it's just a marketing gimmick to put the light on her so she can present something else to the people. I could be wrong, but, or she just, maybe she's going through something. You know what I'm saying? Like bro, people go through things and people react in different ways.
He then made a comparison that was interesting. He brought up Gucci Mane, who went through a similar period of going at everybody publicly before ultimately going to prison, getting clean, and settling down.
For her to be going at this many people all at once, we watched Gucci Mane. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember when Gucci got on one?
Yeah, but
matter of fact, she was the butt of one of the jokes.
Prison right afterwards.
Remember, he was,
Yeah.
we was hearing all kind of things, right?
Yeah.
But Gucci later on, once he came home from prison,
He got off drugs, got married, settled
Remember,
down.
it was something happened at the barbershop.
Yeah.
He said, "Nicki, I should take you to the $29.99. He went at everybody,
Yeah.
right? Every day we looked up, Gucci was over, but bro was going through something.
Now, through all of this, all the tweets, all the accusations, and all the drama, there was one thing that remained absolutely consistent. Jay-Z never said a word. Not one public response, not one tweet, not one interview, not one statement. Jay-Z has never acknowledged the feud directly. His silence has been deafening. And depending on who you ask, that silence either proves he's guilty and knows he can't defend himself, or it proves he sees this as beneath him and not worth engaging with. But there's another angle to Jay-Z's silence that DJ Academics pointed out, and it's actually kind of damning.
I'm wondering why Roc Nation don't sue Nicki. If you know, they're quick to kind of support Meg and sue a blogger who doesn't have anything. Why not sue Nicki? That's kind of odd. I'm not saying this shit, but I'm just saying, you know, usually when they're not suing, it's like they kind of know they don't have a case, which means maybe you have some type of point that you've made. Interesting.
And that right there is the question that keeps the conspiracy theories alive. If what Nicki is saying is completely fabricated, completely untrue, and completely baseless, then why hasn't Roc Nation's legal team, which is known for being aggressive, sent her a cease and desist or filed a defamation suit? Reports indicate a cease and desist may have been sent in December 2025, but no actual lawsuit has materialized. And for a company that has the legal muscle to go after bloggers and small content creators, the fact that they haven't gone after Nicki speaks volumes to a lot of people. And then came February 2026, Grammy night, and that's when everything went completely nuclear. The Grammys explosion and the aftermath. All right, so it's February 2026. The Grammys are happening, the biggest night in music. And while most artists are getting dressed up, walking red carpets, and celebrating their achievements, Nicki Minaj was not at the ceremony. She was at home on X, and she was about to unleash the most explosive series of posts in the history of this entire feud. Now, part of what set her off was something that happened during the Grammys broadcast itself. Trevor Noah, who was hosting the ceremony, decided to crack a joke about Nicki's absence, and it wasn't a gentle joke either.
Man, every single person here, John Legend, Billie Eilish, Phineas, Nicki Minaj is not here. She is not here.
Thumbs up happened.
She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues. Actually, Nicki, I have the biggest ass. I have it. Everybody's saying it, Nicki. I know they say it's you, but it's me. Wop, wop, wop. Look at it. Look at it, baby.
Oh, shit. They dissed the hell out of me.
Now look, Trevor Noah was doing his job as a host, making jokes and getting laughs. But Nicki Minaj does not play like that. She took that personally, very personally. And what followed was an absolute onslaught on social media. Academics was covering the tweets in real time, and the first one he read hit like a bomb.
So Nicki Minaj unleashes this verbal onslaught on Jay-Z. She says, "Are you understanding that these people have been sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power? If you ever vote Democrat again, you're just as soulless as they are, you will perish. Maybe it's time for me to do some story times. Since I wasn't trying to say what I know, yet they continue to attempt bullying. Also, I won't be releasing an album until my contract is renegotiated and until I tell you about all the sabotage this Rico is finding out about Billboard."
She accused Jay-Z and people in his circle of sacrificing children for power. She said she wouldn't be releasing an album until her contract was renegotiated. She said there was sabotage involving Billboard, and she wasn't done. Nicki also posted old photographs showing a young Jay-Z with a teenage Aaliyah, questioning the age gap and the nature of their relationship in the 1990s. Academics actually did the math on this one in real time.
Now, she puts an associated picture, and the picture shows a 26-year-old Jay-Z with supposedly a 15-year-old Aaliyah. Now, we got to do some fact checking here. How old was Aaliyah in 1996? In 1996, she turned 17. So she turned 17 on January 1996. So if this is 1996, as this picture alludes to, unless this was before January 16th, she was most likely 17. She was most likely 17, not 15. So I want to be accurate. Now, granted, is she still underage? Yes. Let's say if it was 1996, right? Aaliyah was 17 in 1996. How old was Jay-Z in 1996? We can't go off the picture. We just got to go off. He was 27. Or 26 or 27, who knows? 27 or 26 and 17 is odd. I will say that. That's odd.
Now, while Nicki was going after Jay-Z, she was also taking shots at seemingly everyone who crossed her radar that night. She went after Trevor Noah for the Grammys joke. She went after Chrissy Teigen, who had apparently given a thumbs-up reaction to Trevor's joke.
Nicki Minaj is not here. She is not here.
What?
She is still at the White House with Donald Trump.
Nicki fired back at Chrissy Teigen with a wild claim that had absolutely nothing to do with Jay-Z. And academics pointed out that Chrissy Teigen appeared to have deleted her Twitter account shortly after. She also went after Lizzo. She made political statements about Democrats. She brought up voter ID. She went after George Clinton. It was a full-on scorched earth campaign. And academics was right there watching it unfold, calling it exactly what he thought it was, but also pointing out the part that nobody in media wanted to touch.
Hey, all y'all niggas who love comment on me, bro. Hey, everybody, hey, I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Hey, oh, let me signal here. Hey, I seen everybody do think pieces on supposedly a non-existent event that didn't happen, but I seen everybody role playing on podcasts what is happening if I got slapped or not, which it didn't happen, but whatever, cool. I'll let y'all rock with that. But I need all of y'all to keep the same energy and talk about this. Joe Budden, I can't wait to watch your next podcast.
And that's really the crux of what Nicki was saying, that the media covers everything else, every little rumor, every little piece of gossip. But when it comes to allegations against Jay-Z, suddenly everybody goes quiet. Suddenly nobody wants to make a podcast about it. Suddenly nobody wants to write a think piece. Now, in the middle of all this chaos, it's important to note what's been happening on the legal front. Because while Nicki was going off on social media, Jay-Z was dealing with his own very serious legal battles. In late 2024, a Jane Doe filed a civil lawsuit alleging that Jay-Z had been involved in a sexual assault back in 2000. Jay-Z denied everything, calling it a blackmail attempt. He countersued the attorney, Tony Busby, for extortion and defamation. The Jane Doe ultimately voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit in February 2025. But Jay-Z then filed his own defamation suit against her in Alabama, claiming the whole thing was an evil conspiracy that cost him $20 million in lost income. Meanwhile, Busby sued Roc Nation right back, accusing them of soliciting his clients to file frivolous lawsuits against his firm. And Jay-Z's extortion lawsuit against Busby was dismissed by a judge in July 2025, though Jay-Z appealed. So, you've got Jay-Z fighting legal battles on multiple fronts while simultaneously having Nicki Minaj going nuclear on social media. And through it all, Beyoncé has remained completely silent. She hasn't responded to any of Nicki's accusations. She hasn't addressed the conspiracy theories. Nicki herself has actually clarified that her beef is with Jay-Z, not Beyoncé. But that hasn't stopped the internet from dragging Beyoncé into it. Anyway, as of right now, this situation shows no signs of slowing down. Nicki is still posting. Jay-Z is still silent. No lawsuits between the two have been filed. And the question remains the same one it's always been. What is actually true, and what is just noise? Nicki says Jay-Z owes her hundreds of millions and has been sabotaging her career. Jay-Z's camp says nothing. The Barbs say their queen is being persecuted. The skeptics say this is all marketing. And the rest of us, we're just watching the most explosive feud in hip-hop history play out in real time on our phone screens. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.